this council has established itself as the vehicle that was going to lead this city down a positive direction. We have had citizens coming to us in opposition to this, but this council stood strong today to pass this ordinance because this ordinance is needed. Charleston Committee, I already know that. We got to put people on this committee with the community at heart, with the police at heart. We got to have somebody that's not adverse to anybody that's on this committee for the betterment of this whole community. And then when we do that, generations to come will rise up and call us blessed if we put the right people on this committee who are going to do what's best for this community. And I just want to commend this. This is a bold council, and I've been saying that down through the years. Don't just because we start off with one council member over here, don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Because once we lay all of the facts on the table, these citizens will gravitate toward what the true facts are. Without facts, some up here, some around here, some under here, but when you put all of the facts on the table, they will gravitate toward those facts, and that's what happened here. And we're going to do good with that. Let me just say that it has already been mentioned that on September the 3rd, the Crichton CAG group would have its community explosion to start at 12 o'clock in the Mill Street Park. The mayor and all of the council members have been invited to come out. It's sort of like a back to school for the kids. After 4th of July, they got to go to school. I mean, this is it for them. So we're having something, we're going to have a talent show. We're going to parade talent. It's going to be, last year was our first time with this. This is going to be our second time with this. We expect that to be a great project. And also, the Tobinville Crichton Community Development Corporation, where the former Judge Herman Thomas is the president of this group. They met yesterday, and they came up with some projects that they want to start off with. And they picked some great projects which they will reveal to the community later on. They're not willing, they want to get a grip on these projects, and they're going to come public with what they are doing. But I was at that meeting, and I was just moved by the spirit of this group. They're going to do good. It's a combined effort of the citizens in Crichton and the citizens in Tobinville. And they expressed to me last night their need for a meeting room for the Crichton group, and Master Thompson, you can help us with that. They want somewhere, in Tobinville, they have a place, the Tobinville Library. It's nowhere for them to meet in the Crichton community. So I just want to put that out there. We heard even Master Simpson mention that we're losing police officers, and it's because of the atmosphere in which they have to work under. We believe this committee is going to relieve that, help to relieve that, because there's some citizens that they don't have any confidence in the police. It's a perception. We have this opportunity to erode that perception, to get rid of that perception. We want everybody to feel good about the people that is going to protect us. Man, I've said enough.
All right. Mr. Daves?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, there will be a meeting of the Council's Finance Committee this afternoon, 2 o'clock p.m. in the Council Conference Room. Mr. Wesh will be with us to look over the budget that's been proposed to us for fiscal year 2017. In that connection, I would like to offer do I need a motion, Mr. Rossler, no, we just need to say we're going to do it, right? Okay, so we'll have a public hearing on the budget Everybody okay on that?
We got a choice of the 6th and the 13th, so.
Well, I'd prefer to do it earlier.
Yeah, so we'll call for it.
And have it earlier.
We have the public hearing earlier and gives
time.
us more time
Yeah,
to
right.
discuss after the public hearing. Yeah.
September 6th. I'd like to say a few words on the Citizens Advisory Committee. I have to admit that I was skeptical with respect to the advisability of this committee when it was first proposed. However, excuse me, however, there's certainly a large segment of our community, excuse me, there's certainly a large segment of our community, this isn't that difficult. There's certainly a large segment of our community who feel strongly that such a committee is necessary. And I thought all along that it wasn't in anybody's interest just to ignore that feeling. I did, however, feel there were countervailing concerns. I was concerned that we make sure that if we created such a committee that we did not hobble our excellent police force, our excellent police chief in the performance of their primary duty, which is the safety of protecting the safety of all of our citizens. And I felt it was also important to craft an ordinance that created this committee so that the committee, when created, would help and not hurt the situation, would make the situation better and not worse. It took us some time to work through these issues. I think in the end, we ended up with something that I felt achieved those two objectives. It's as I said at the beginning, it's something I've worried about. In the end, the ordinance that we passed today was not the ordinance that I completely would have liked. I don't think it's the ordinance that anyone sitting at this table likes completely. I don't think it's an ordinance that the administration likes completely. But in the end, we all came together and came up with something we could all live with. And I think that's the primary job of any government, is to make sure that that we try to move the community or the state or the nation forward in the best way we know how. The way our government is set up, with 3 different forms of government and the checks and the balances, nobody gets everything they want. There's always compromise involved, and I think this is a perfect example of that compromise working. I want to commend and thank my colleagues on the council. And let me say, I completely understand the position of Mr. Williams, and I think that it's one of those issues where there were solid arguments on all sides. But I want to commend and thank my colleagues. I want to commend and thank those in the administration who have worked with us for getting us to this point. Thank you very much.
All right. Mr. Manzi?
Yes, Madam President. I want to just remind citizens in the Plateau Africatown community that we will be convening a meeting tonight at the Union Baptist Church to principally talk about the proposals we've received from the community relative to a name change for Bay Bridge Road. That meeting will be at Union Baptist Church tonight at 6 o'clock. Look forward to discussing this idea with the citizens from that community. In that same vein, the Plateau and Africatown communities will be having a Heritage Weekend celebration, and in culmination of that weekend celebration, we're going to work to try to dedicate the walking trail in Africatown that Saturday, September the 3rd at 10 a.m. We'll be sending invitations out, certainly to the mayor and his administration, members of the council, and members of that community in dedicating the Africatown Heritage Walking Trail, Saturday, September 3rd at 10 a.m. In looking at the budget, haven't had a complete opportunity to review it line by line and idea by idea, but certainly we're aware a couple of months ago we called for the creation of a Department of Youth Services. This department's aim would be to improve access to key educational, extracurricular, and employment programs for our city's youth. I'm incredibly encouraged that Mayor Stimson, that you've seen the need to add that program to your budget. You demonstrated that by funding it to the tune of almost $450,000. And I look forward to working with this administration and with my council colleagues to ensure that this is the best program that it can be, and that we devote as many resources as possible toward all programs geared to our youth, and especially summer employment opportunities for those youth who certainly need that positive interaction in the summertime when they're not in school. So I want to publicly say I'm appreciative of that effort, and I'm hopeful that my colleagues will join us in funding it and finding additional funding if necessary to make certain that it's an initiative that really has impact for our youth here in the city of Mobile.
Before we move on, Mr. Richardson wants to introduce some constituents who were here this morning.
Yeah, I wanted all of the citizens from the Crichton CAG to stand.
Citizens who were here from Crichton? All right, good number.
All
I think
right.
this is the second week in a row for some of you all to come down and visit with us.
And I want Ms. Sarah Turnipseed to put your hand up. Sister Turnipseed? Yeah,
She's
that's what I'm
hiding.
talking about. She's president of the Crichton CAG. This is a great group. And you're sitting over there by Captain Dove. He's over the CAGs. He's right here.
He's definitely hiding back there. I
He's
didn't,
hiding
I
back there.
didn't see Jack.
He's back there. So, you know, whatever. I think Toberville is looking forward to organizing, and that's our man right there.
Sure, yeah. Certainly. All right.
Okay.
Is that it? All right.
Yes.
Since we were talking about the Citizens Advisory Council, I just want to compliment the council as well. Also, I want to thank the mayor for getting involved and working on a proposed resolution 2 that helped bring us to this point. The police chief in particular, who helped us with the drafting of the ordinance that we passed today, because we knew there was a need for education, and we wanted to make sure that how we did this education was in a way that he preferred. So that's why we will have a 6-hour orientation class for all of these appointees. So thanks to the chief, thanks to the mayor and your administration. We worked with Ricardo. You know, it was tough 6 weeks. Some of us started at 0, came to the middle. Others started at 10 and came to the middle. So it's not always pretty, but at the end of the day, I think this will be something that will be more of a positive. I certainly want it to be viewed as more of a positive so that people understand the role of our police officers and what they are faced with every day, as well as what the citizens in our community are faced with, so that we do what the chief has been talking about. See each other through, you know, the glass on your car as you're driving through the neighborhood. See each other from each other's perspective so that we make this a positive. This panel that we are appointing will not be mandated to attend the chief's panel. However, they are highly encouraged to go and to attend. We have several members of the chief's current panel who have been with us today. They have been working on some of the very issues that Mr. Richardson talked about, which is dropping out of school, teen violence, teens carrying guns, that sort of thing. So they will be highly encouraged to attend these meetings, although they will not be mandated to go. Again, I'm just thankful that we did this. Dr. Simeon came and spoke with us last week and made a lot of very good recommendations. He too has been on this panel. He's a criminologist and sociologist professor at Spring Hill College. We hope to keep him involved as we go forward. He has studied these issues and made a lot of sense, and we appreciate his involvement. Just some announcements going forward. I did talk earlier that we are laying over the police jurisdiction rollback for 1 week. I will assign this to the Public Safety Committee. That's Mrs. Rich. She'll announce her meeting. Hopefully this will be done at the end of this week or first of next week, so that it will come back on the agenda next week to be voted on. Also, over the weekend on Saturday, I participated in a back-to-school rally with the members of the Mobile Terrace Community Development Corporation. We gave out school supplies, and the splash pad, believe me, was in full use out there. It was a terrific day for the kids in Mobile Terrace. The Old Shell Road resurfacing is just about done. If you travel Old Shell Road, you certainly notice the difference. That road is now almost all the way through, a smooth ride, thanks to everyone who's been involved in this. I know Nick Amberger has been riding herd on the crews who've been working out there and pushing them to finish. So I really thank Nick and Janik and everyone in engineering for making this project a reality and getting it done. It is truly a wonderful project. If you've driven down University Boulevard lately, you've noticed some work going on in those medians. That is a partnership between South Alabama and the city of Mobile. I was happy to provide some capital improvement funds to make it possible. South is doing all the work. We just help pay for a little bit of it, but they're doing all the work. They put in irrigation system, they are planting, and they will do all the maintenance. So University Boulevard, tremendous improvement. It really sets off that the boulevard itself, and also, of course, the area with South Alabama being right there on University Boulevard. So many thanks for working on that. I know Ricardo got involved in getting the memo of understanding set with South, and that wasn't always easy. So thanks, Ricardo, for doing that. With that, unless there are any other announcements, Mr. Small.
Yes, Madam President. While we're giving praises to some police officers, I'd like for my friend to stand up. Captain Reed, would you please stand? Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to, and then to the citizens, Captain Reed, is the captain of the 1st Precinct, and I can tell you exactly what he does in the Oakdale community, especially at 1010 Baltimore Street. Him and his officers have got together in the past and went out there with the kids and helped with the basketball courts. They went out there and during the Christmas time, giving back toys to the children at 1010 Baltimore Street projects and everything. And Captain Reed has been a great access to not only to Oakdale and to District 3. He's one of the few officers I know that actually pass out his cell phone number to the citizens and tell the citizens to actually give him a call personally on his cell phone. Many citizens tried him, and he answered. And I would like to say thank you personally, publicly, Captain Reed, for all the great work that you do for District 3. Basically, he be at many CAD meetings, and citizens feel like that Captain Reed is their friend. So thank you again, Captain Reed, for all the work that you do for District 3. And Mayor, he's a good employee.
Yeah. Our guys are really good at community policing. I've had the privilege of working with Jack Dove, who I can see back there, Lieutenant Maynard, who we're working with now over in our 4th Precinct, and many other police officers who have risen through the ranks. Captain Godwin is there, Captain Dixon. So thank you guys for all that you do. We appreciate it. And Jack, it's always good to see you. Saw you at the National Night Out recently. So anybody else? All right, with that then, we are adjourned.